So I was saying that this video is going to be all over the place because I am all over the place, being that NYU evicted us, and I'm just going to be talking about how NYU responded to the coronavirus in its entirety. I'll be walking around, the lighting is going to be weird, I'm outside, as you can tell. Bear with me, better videos will come. Oh, I made it worse. Never mind, okay. So I'm outside vlogging because I was evicted. So I was an RA, which means that I worked for housing. I was responsible for taking care of residents. I don't know, floor mom, floor parent, whatever you want to call it. So I'm giving you as much information as I can. Like everything I know, you will know after this video. Everything happened within a week, basically. Rough timeline was like Wednesday, we got released from our positions, released from our responsibilities, which means we were still RAs, we weren't supposed to do anything because they didn't want. Ooh, it's a cat. It's a kitty. Oh Lord, I don't. It's on me. Hey, yeah, you're so cute. I don't know how to play with cats. Like they just be scratching you. Okay, I'm so over this week. Are you gonna run me over, sir? Please don't. Hey, kitty. I want to go back to New York. Yeah, so they released us from our roles and then our responsibilities, and basically they did that instead of like blatantly firing us, so that if NYU were to reopen, we would just come back like nothing happened. And that was like on Wednesday, and then like I would say like Friday, people were like, oh, what if they close housing? If they close housing, because it was like Columbia closed, Harvard closed, all the like Ivy Leagues NYU likes to follow because NYU thinks it's the Ivy League closed, and we're just like, ma'am, is NYU going to close? Because they can't. Like I live here, I work here. What would it mean to like have to just up and move my whole life to somewhere else I've never lived, after I've been here for 4 years. Like we have a lot of international students, so everybody was like rightfully worried about what could happen should NYU close the residence halls. So Saturday or Sunday rolls around and we get that email, and that email's like, y'all need to go. Yeah, NYU just yeeted us out basically on like Sunday. And initially it was like, oh, if you can leave, please leave. Please. And a lot of people were like, okay, well, I can't leave, so I'm going to stay. Myself included. I was like, I'm staying until NYU kicks me out. And that was the route a lot of students were going to take, because it's like, this is my apartment. Like I signed my housing contract, our leases, like we live here. People are paying. NYU dorms are not cheap. Like rooms can range between $10,000 to like $20,000 or $30,000 a year. Like people are paying to stay, and they're paying for all these things, and we pay bills. Like what? What do you mean you're just going to evict all of the students in your housing? All 12,000 of us, which they did. So the first email goes out and it's like, if you can leave, leave. I see that things are getting bad. There's lines to get into every grocery store because New York doesn't have a lot of big supermarkets, or like Manhattan, Brooklyn areas don't have big supermarkets like that, like no Walmarts and things. So you have like your bodega, Whole Foods, and Trader Joe's, and you're trying to like fend for yourself. I go load up on groceries at Trader Joe's. I was there it took me like 40 minutes to get into the store, and then I was in line for like another hour and a half, 2 hours, just like loading up on stuff and trying to buy what I needed. I didn't take all the toilet paper. I didn't take any toilet paper, so don't look at me. I only got enough for me to be quarantined for 2 weeks because that's what I was told to do at the time. And then Wednesday rolls around and we get another email that's like, my timeline is off somewhere. I'll recap the timeline below, but just go by like my first email. So like we had 3 emails. The removal from responsibility, and then the if you can leave, leave, and then get out. So we get the get out email. Get out. What? Oh, it was a teacup. It was a teacup. Yeah. So we get the get out email, and I just start crying. I start crying, and then a lot of the RAs start crying, because I had gone down to the office that morning, and there are maybe, I don't know, like 1,000 boxes. You can lock your doors. I'm not. Yeah. So I go down to the office that morning, and our manager is there, and I'm like, we're gonna call him Josh. So I'm like, Josh, what are all these boxes for?
Nothing. I just, they're there to encourage people to leave.
And they were not forcing us to leave. Like, that same morning, I was told they were not making us leave. Sure enough, like, not even like 6 hours later, we get an email telling us to get out. So I go down, I get the boxes. I'm like, everybody's crying, and I need to get out of here, because, like, bear with me. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to, there was like rumors floating around that they were going to quarantine the city, or like that Manhattan was, like, subways were going to stop. Basically, it was about to get real apocalyptic really quick. And my mom's panicking, I'm panicking, my granny, grandpa, my whole family's like, get out! And I'm like, like, are you seriously ending my whole college career with like one email? So I'm just like, I book a flight. I said, I'm gonna leave on Sunday. That gives me like 4 or 5 days to get situated, put my stuff in storage, and go. Eventually, more panic sets in. I rescheduled my flight from Sunday to like Saturday, and I rescheduled it again from like Saturday to Thursday, and then finally I rescheduled it, and I'm like, no, I'm leaving tomorrow. So it's like Tuesday, and I'm leaving Wednesday, and I have not packed a single thing. So I rushed my entire life for the last 4 years into like some boxes. Luckily, NYU gave us boxes to get out, you know. They did do that much. Yeah, so in these, I pack up everything. I throw away like 50% of my stuff, because it was going to be too expensive to ship, or like it's like, what do I do with this? Things I did care about, but like, take what you can, take what you need was what I was working with. Yeah, people are like, it was just so somber. Everybody was crying, or people were just really drunk, or really high, or just like anything to like escape what was happening, because like it was a big deal. People were worried about losing their visas. People had to go back home out of the country. Flights were like $4,000 or $5,000 for some people. Some people didn't have anywhere to go. I have friends who are homeless, people who don't have access to food, and through NYU we were able to get those things. So like, it was just really devastating. Like, it's not just school. You had career opportunities, like actual things that were going to translate into your health and happiness and success, and they were just gone with one email. And nobody was telling us what was happening. So like, I work for housing, and meanwhile I'm telling residents like, oh no, you're okay. NYU understands that 30% of our population is international. They're not going to kick us out. And then we got kicked out, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, I told you what I knew, and apparently they didn't tell me anything, because I'm also being thrown under here. So we're all leaving. I called a storage place, and I was like, hey, do you have discounts for like students? Because I heard U-Haul was like doing free storage for a month, and like there's all these things. So like, yeah, no, nobody's doing that for us in Manhattan. So I said,
Word ain't no thing. Y'all don't care about me either. I feel it.
So I do go to a storage unit, and moving in New York is hard because nobody has a car. So we had to rent a really big U-Haul, and I've been driving since I was 15, so I wasn't too worried about it. But like, I've never driven in New York, which has pedestrians everywhere who are also stupid. They're stupid because they'll walk in front of your car, and like, there's one-way streets. So me and my friend Val, shout out to Val, we rent this U-Haul, and we're like, get in, loser, you know. And I'm driving. This is like all around these bumpy streets in this big U-Haul, and we finally get there, and like, at a certain point everybody was just like, game faces on. NYU wants me out, I gotta go. I gotta go. I don't know how, but I gotta go, and I have to make it work. And people stopped crying, and it went very numb, and it was just like, this is what you do to get out. This is how you survive. Yeah, so I put my stuff in the U-Haul, and then we called to confirm the storage unit on the way there. And the storage unit's like, oh yeah, we're actually closed indefinitely. What? Closed indefinitely? They closed indefinitely, and I had just talked to them that morning and told them I was moving in. So now it's like my flight leaves in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I don't have a storage unit. All my stuff is here for the most part, and what do? I drive to U-Haul, the wrong U-Haul, and it turns out this U-Haul has no storage units. It's just trucks. And I'm like, I can't store my stuff here. So I'm like panicking, about to cry. And then we call this other storage place, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll take you right now. And I'm like, okay, great, where are you? And I type in the GPS, and it's like 1 minute walk, and I turn around, and it's like right behind me. And I'm like, look at God. It was right behind me. And they let me, it was just real quick, in and out, take my money. I don't care how much it costs. I mean, I do, but I can't afford to take it. It was expensive. Yeah, we put our stuff in storage, and then like I dashed out of there. I had to go straight from the storage unit to JFK to catch my flight to Nevada. In the cab, I'm covered with like masks and gloves, and I'm barely dressed. I'm like layering on all this clothing and stuff. When we get there, I have two massive suitcases, a carry-on, and like another 2 little things. I'm like trying to carry all this stuff by myself, and my body's cramping and it's hurting, and I'm trying not to cry as I move all this crap through the airport. I get it into the airport, and I haven't eaten. Well, I barely ate that day, so I've been working and moving, and I was just dehydrated and tired. I get to the airport, I buy some food. I tried to buy some food, and then it turns out like I hear my name over the speakers. It's like,
we need passengers
to like your gate. My pizza. My pizza. Like, I lost everything. Can I just get my pizza, please? Like, can y'all hurry up? Because I'm sorry, because I know you stressed, but I'm stressed. We stressed. Please. 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 So they rushed my pizza, and it's like kind of cold, but whatever. I get on the flight. I'm going to work on this pizza. On the plane, they had everybody spaced out. Like, I had like 6 rows to myself. Everybody on that plane had at least 3 rows to themselves. Sorry, it's windy. Oh, cricket, huh? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna keep talking. Y'all, this is not a technical video. I'm an actor. Yeah. So on the plane, the pilot was like, talked to us, was like, thank you for flying and whatnot. We did space you out like this on purpose to, so people aren't just spreading around coronavirus. And I'm like, we're okay. I wanted to have my own seat, but not in not for this reason. Well, the plane takes off, and I was okay until the flight attendant looked at my shirt, which said NYU 2020 on it. And she goes, what is she looking at me for? And I look down, I go. So the minute the flight attendant leaves, I like look out the window, and I just start crying. And I'm like, dang, there are so many friends I didn't get to say goodbye to. My show, I was on a play got canceled. There was so many things I had like in the works. Like, I was just starting to see the city, getting out of my shell. I was really excited for like what the next few months were gonna bring. I had so many vlogs in mind, and I was just looking at it through the window, and it was gone. I was like, there's no graduation, there's no senior dances, there's no nothing. I don't even know when I'm going to be back in New York. I don't know if I'm going to see a lot of my friends again, Like, that was the final ending for so many things in my life. Yeah. And now I'm in Nevada. Just thinking of like why NYU closed the dorms. I am Like, I'm not upset that they had to close the dorms. Like, I do understand that there is a massive virus. New York is like the epicenter of like America at the moment. So like, I'm not mad. I just wish they had given us like more than a 48-hour notice. Like, if you could have given us the legal 2 weeks, I would have really appreciated that to like tie some ends and like process and like let's do it. But giving me 48 hours to move my life was devastating. A lot of crying, a lot of everything. And also, you sent me into like the epicenter, so now I have to interact with more people, and I'm risking getting themselves sick as well as myself. And I had enough stuff to quarantine for who knows how long. Like, I was really upset they made us go into all of that, and then sent people home all around the world from the epicenter of America to like interact with their families and immunocompromised people. Whereas in the dorms, we were all the same age, and like, it felt like a better thing for us to just like shelter in place in our dorms as opposed to sending 12,000 students into an epidemic, a pandemic, I'm sorry. The last question is like, what is NYU going to do with your stuff? You let me know. NYU issued out this email while some people were still away from spring break and was like, don't come back, we'll mail your stuff to you. Which is complicated because some suites have like 9, 6, up to like 15 people in a suite. And they're like, we're going to pack it up and send it to you. And we're like, how do you know whose stuff is whose? How are you going to afford to ship out the belongings for like 12,000 residents? Long story short, NYU has since backtracked on a lot of things they said. Like, they're not shipping instruments or TVs, which is problematic because we have a lot of art students. They're not shipping anything big. They are mailing boxes, but the boxes are going to the wrong address. People are opening boxes and finding things that aren't theirs. Yeah. Or people have the option to like leave their stuff in their room and have it locked up. But the issue is that some dorms have been requested to be used as like hospital rooms for patients because there's not enough hospital beds at the moment. My dorm was not one of them. A lot of dorms were not. We've only, that I know of, had 3 dorms out of our like 16 requested to be used for hospital beds. They have one residence hall open where students who absolutely could not leave are living. But even then, I understand like a lot of students had their request to stay in that emergency housing denied. NYU has also compensated people. They weren't going to pay RAs or give refunds or whatever to people, but we protested, so now students were given their money back for the rest of the semester, and RAs were paid for food and housing costs for the rest of the semester at a prorated rate, which equated to like minimum wage for a full-time job for 6 weeks. I think 6 weeks. Questionable. Yeah, or they're possibly giving people the option to just come back and get all your stuff later, like it's untouched and all that, which just kind of is like, so we could have just stayed there. Like, I had the means to not leave. Like, I wasn't worried about I don't know. So I think NYU handled the communication poorly. I think they handled the compensation poorly. Like, we shouldn't have had to protest to get our money back. We also should not have been given a 48-hour notice, which is illegal. They evicted us after the governor said no evictions, and just because we're students doesn't mean we can't be evicted. Like, we were evicted. So that's life. That's life in a nutshell right now. Please subscribe if you have any questions about anything. I will be making more NYU videos, more life vlogs and all that. Hopefully I can find somewhere quiet and private to vlog that doesn't involve me getting attacked by cats or yelling over U-Haul trucks. Triggered. I am triggered. I'm triggered.